Hello, everybody, and welcome to our CCA broadcast here, the morning edition for an exciting Div 5 semifinals. My name is FalcoFlyer, and I am joined here by Toma. Toma, how's it going?
Good morning, Falco. You know, it is bright and early, but I am so excited to be here. We got a great matchup today here against ISU, Redbeak, Splatoon, CCU, Coastal Squid Surge. Both of these teams have fought long and hard to make it here to the playoff season.
They have, and these teams are actually getting ready right now. I believe they hopped into a game and they accidentally chose Turf War, so we're gonna ignore what I can see on my screen as they kind of get that situated. I got concerned because they rushed into this so quickly, but yes, it should be a good one. So how this is gonna work for the playoffs for CCA, this is a best of 9 rather than a best of 7. So we have 9 possible games that we can get through. Of course, we're going to play each mode twice, with Clan Blitz being that potential Game 9 match that we head to. So, of course, this is going to be fun, starting off with Clan Blitz on Flounder Heights, too. I do enjoy this map mode. I'll say I'm not a big Flounder fan, but for a Clan Blitz stage, I can kind of get behind this one.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm not the biggest Flounder fan at all, but it's a decent Clan Blitz stage. And you know, I think that these walls and this elevation provide a lot of interesting different angles, especially for some meta weapons necessarily, like some shooters, some rollers, some sloshers who can really take advantage of kind of just peeking over those edges with their pressure.
Yeah, and you know, this isn't really a stage where we see a ton of charger play. If we're going to play backliner, typically it's that splatling just so you can kind of get a little more paint coverage around by the basket and push forward. So whatever the backlines have, they're going to maybe have to adapt if they're used to some shooters. But of course, we can't ignore the fact that for these teams, it's very early in the morning. It is, I believe, 6 a.m. for the Redbeak Splatoon team from Iowa State University, 7 a.m. from the Coastal Squid Surge team. So again, I don't know if you, Toma, have you played Splatoon this early in the morning before?
No, if I'm up this early in the morning, it is purely to go to work. We have a special exception for Splatoon here today.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that hard. I've done a few morning shenanigan things, but not really, not really for comp, I'll say. So, again, we know some of these teams, I believe they got up pretty early, too, just to kind of get themselves situated and warmed up, which is always great. But these teams are now ready, so let's bring you into this game as we get started with our first setup.
Yep, we're going to be seeing what both these teams are bringing to the table. You called it, Falco. No chargers to be seen. The backlines on each side. We're seeing that Explosher versus Heavy Splatling matchup going on there. But of course, you see there the double shooter, triple shooter on each side, and you've got the Tri-Slosher Nouveau, which I think is a wonderful pick coming out on the side of Coastal Squid Surge. Right now, both in mid, just trying to look for some picks. It looks like an early 2 down there on Redbeak. So that's actually going to be the full wipe, as now Coastal Squid Surge can go forward and try to get that dunk on the Power Clan. They've got that basket open, and they're going to be able to start scoring there. Redbeak taking that down to 80, just a single power clam in before that basket goes back up.
Yeah, so kind of a one and done push at that, but of course any opportunity that you can score, you're going to really take advantage of, especially early in the game to kind of set the tone here. And as we see now, Redbeak Splatoon able to get another power clam formed pretty quickly after their basket has closed, with Coastal Squid Surge now using some of their specials to help try and push forward. And this is really where that stalemate battle at mid is going to be happening, where it looks like Redbeak Splatoon is able to get a few picks, able to push up, but they're going to be contending against this crab in mid.
Yep, and you definitely don't want to be running down a crab tank. That is a recipe for disaster, especially you see that rain coming in afterwards to follow up on it, actually taking down a member of Redbeak Splatoon there. 2 were down momentarily, 1 going to be jumping out to save their life there. This is going to be giving Coastal Squid Surge quite a bit of space. You can already see they're going to be taking advantage of that, using those tri-strikes, but in the chaos of it all, 3 of their members go down. Just Idea there left on that T-Tech, taking that power clam and gonna back it out.
Yeah, that's so hard when you have the momentum working for you, and then unfortunately you're the last one alive, and what do you do at that point? You just kind of have to give up that power clam, because there's really no point in scoring, and that is exactly what has happened. But now we see Coastal Squid Surge having 2 power clams at the ready, trying to find a way to push forward. They do have a 1-player advantage as well with some of these specials coming out, but there is a power clam that's going to be sneaking in here from Coastal Squid Surge, so they're going to extend their lead just a little bit, as unfortunately none of the other players are very close. Splatling was getting a little closer, but had to jump out.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you're watching that basket, especially on Flounder Heights. There's so many ways you can go around on this map, so many flanking options. It can be really hard to keep track of it all, and you can make sneaky little power clam plays like that, especially if they're juggling clams. They're going to make it right underneath the basket so that they're not highlighting their every move. And now Redbeak Splatoon kind of capitalizing off of that momentum they created when they forced Coastal Squid Surge to go backwards towards the basket. You saw that they were trying to put some pressure there onto that street, but the rain and other specials did move them out of that way. Coastal Squid Surge now able to find their way back into mid and are hoping to take even more space with that. You see the tri-strikes coming out alongside that Zuka, and now the crab tank following up on it all. It's a 1 down on both sides situation. And even more trades are coming out, Falco. As you can just see right here on this street, all these fights happening, all this pressure going out as they're so close to this basket. They've got some clams. They can definitely make a good push here. They just need to find the picks, but already one is down as they're trying to make that push. The other one being pressured over here, being forced to fall off, and it looks like somebody is trying to follow them here and try to finish them off. As that fight happens, they are able to defend their clams, but it has definitely forced them out of position. You can continue to see here in this street, this fight going on. Coastal Squid Surge going 2 down there to the Tri-Slosher Nouveau. Now just 1 up, and it looks like these power clams may be dead, Falco. They're going to be so much happening here as now Redbeak Splatoon posed to take control of this mid area. In just 38 seconds left in this match, Coastal Squid Surge has the power clams online. They can take the game here. They can find it, but they've got to get these to the basket.
Yeah, you know, this is going to be a really tricky opportunity because that was Redbeak's opportunity to score, but now you're contesting against 3 power clams against the team, or no, you have 3 power clams that you are able to work with, and you just need 2 to score within the next 10 seconds, but it's going to be really hard to find a player that's going to be able to push up because Coastal Squid Surge, they haven't really been able to do this much all game, so Redbeak Splatoon just doing a really good job defending mid and not letting Coastal Squid Surge push in as we now approach overtime.
Yeah, but you can already see the pick going out onto that crab tank user. You've got the tri-strikes coming out. You've just got to find that connection. The tri-strikes trying to clear a path, but the power clam user goes down. The second power clam user tries to find their way into the basket, and that's going to be the full wipe. Falco, that second clam falling just ever so short of the basket there is going to give the game to Redbeak Splatoon.
Again, I think they played that flawlessly for the situations that they were given, but they were able to score early on in the game and just kind of coast in control mid pretty much the entire time. We did see them score one more time, but the fact that they were able to just hold on to mid, not let Coastal Squid Surge apply any pressure and push up is absolutely incredible. So yes, with that, Redbeak Splatoon going to be getting the first win. of this set, and let's take a look at this replay. This was the opportunity that Coastal Squid Surge tried to push in to get a score. They were so close into overtime, but of course you gotta do everything you possibly can to score in that situation, and unfortunately that might kind of create some feeding scenarios where you may not be prepared to score, but you really have no other choice.
Yep, and I think they did the best that they could in that scenario. And like, you saw that power clam fall so short at the basket. If that had connected, that would have been a different game. It would have been a different outcome. And sometimes it comes down to a matter of just a single throw like that.
And now we will be moving on to game 2. This is going to be Mako Mart Splat Zone. So of course, this is a map mode we're all very familiar with. Just it being a staple in competitive Splatoon, and based on the decisions and kind of the play style of this last game, you can't really predict what's going to happen here, because this is a very scale-matey map mode as it is. It's a good one. So I mean, if you're able to just hold on to the lockout, that's going to really hold on and get you pretty far into the match. But both of these teams are right in it, and let's hop into our second game.
Yes, they definitely are. Excited to see what they're going to be bringing to the table here. You got different weapon viabilities here. We still see similar, you see a machine coming out this time on the side of Coastal Squid Surge, but they're going to be keeping their same non-charger backlines here. And just, again, small changes, like you've got the a Splash Neo coming out as well. And it's going to be Coastal Squid Surge this time, actually taking a little bit early of a cap on the zone. You can see right here this member trying to fight to hold on, able to hold on to that, and now the rain coming out from Peachy on that Explo, doing what Explo does just so best, which is putting down just absolute loads of paint. But Redbeak Splatoon able to find their answer here, able to take a cap of that zone, take 3 down on Coastal Squid Surge now, and it's going to be up to them to get back in, as this is going to be a pretty easy lead change.
That was a really good special coordination from Redbeak Splatoon, as they were able, I believe they just needed to use 2 specials, and they were able to get the three splats that they really needed to do and able to push up. So that did get them to 62, a pretty good lead, as they're able to hold on to this zone for just a little bit, but no, that's going to be 2. Chai going to be taking them down 3 with the assist. In this zone, it looks like it will be flipping over potentially. There we go, to Coastal Squid Surge, as they're now trying to start to push up. So again, just really good, I'll say, positioning and just awareness of where I need to be if you're Chai, just able to finish the job from some of your other players as they're trying to get splats.
Yep, and that's going to be the lead change happening, but now you can see that coordination coming in, the tri-strikes and the crab, able to contest the zone, but not quite able to flip it. And now specials coming out from Coastal Squid Surge to be able to defend. You've got that Booyah Bomb forcing that tri-slosher back alongside with the crab. Coastal Squid Surge is able to extend their lead here, but it looks like they don't see the member behind. Kaiza able to finally get the pick on it, but not before Coastal Squid Surge goes 2 down. That was a nice flank play from Redbeak Splatoon.
Even if you don't get picks in that situation, you just serve as a distraction for all of your players, because the worst thing that can happen is you just have some player lurking around by your base and you have no idea where you are, so you kind of have to send all of your reinforcements over that way. And that is actually what is going to be helping Coastal Squid Surge hold on to this zone as well and extend their lead, as they do have some penalty points that they're trying to get rid of. Specials now being thrown out by both teams. We have Wavebreaker, we have Rain, and it's going to be a 3v3 situation, but I'll say, Thomas, Squid Surge, they're looking like they're holding on pretty well.
Yeah, they sure do. You got so much pressure. I've got to say, I love this Explosher pick that they've got out. Explosher puts on so much pressure, especially on a map mode like this. But right now, you can see Redbeak Splatoon not ready to give up quite yet, as they're able to find that zone cap. They're going to be able to defend it here. Taking 2 down on Coastal Squid Surge. And if you're Coastal Squid Surge, you have to be really careful in this situation. There's another member of them down. You have to make sure you're not going to stagger. But they look like they don't want to do that here, as they're able to get 2 down onto Redbeak Splatoon. They're going to get that Booyah Bomb in there to try to get some paint on the zone, force some members back. And you can see here that they're going to be able to take back that zone, get a 2 down situation. But the Tri-Slosher picking off 1 on that stack there. You can see Chai knows where there's somewhere over there. They're able to find a pick and get the crab tank out now and start putting more pressure into their base. Coastal Squid Surge this whole time, very different game than this first game. They're able to hold a lot of pressure here, and they've been doing it really consistently. But Redbeak Splatoon not giving up yet. Those tri-strikes trying to create them some space, but Coastal Squid Surge just has this amazing paint output that's been able to hold on to zone through all these specials. You can see that Redbeak Splatoon has kind of just brute forced their way up and able to apply penalty onto Coastal Squid Surge. But, you know, seeing what's happened, I imagine this is not game yet. 50 seconds left on this clock. Coastal Squid Surge just needs to be able to find their answer before Redbeak Splatoon passes 3.
Yeah, that was a real key cap at that moment. We just had 3 remaining because Coastal Squid Surge, they've been doing a really good job just holding on to the zone, and they still have a good lead, so they don't need to try anything fancy. They don't want to put themselves in situations that they might regret later, and it looks like right now Redbeak Splatoon is cooking as they are still chipping away at some of the penalty points. They're going to have to hold on just as well as Coastal Squid Surge did if they want to ride this to victory, potentially going into overtime.
Absolutely, you know, and the key here right now, if you're Coastal Squid Surge, don't drop, don't take these fights alone. You need to build your special, and especially right now, you need to get that Tri-Slosher out from underneath, and there goes Kaiza, getting that Tri-Slosher out. That's going to be protecting their space to come in. 2 down on the side of Redbeak Splatoon. It is now or never for Coastal Squid Surge. They're going to get that Booyah Bomb out onto the zone, and that is going to be the defense, and Coastal Squid Surge is going to take this game.
See, it's really nice that they had such a strong lead, that they were able to be patient, wait until overtime. You have enough time to build your specials and throw it in. And throwing the Booyah Bomb on the backside too is, I think, what really helped, because that was going to be the last side that any of the front lines could potentially paint. Let your specials take care of the zone in the back, let your front line take care of the zone in the front, and it was, you know, Redbeak Splatoon really had no time to react in that situation. So a very, very good win there by Coastal Squid Surge.
Oh, absolutely. Totally agree with what you said here. Taking a look at this replay, you know, the big thing right there, Cliff on that Tri-Slosher, creating a terrible time for Coastal Squid Surge getting back in, but Kaiza making easy work of it. And this is what allows them back in. The Zuka takes out the splash as well, freeing up the entire frontline space. This Booyah Bomb, as you said, goes into the back, and here they come. Chai is able to paint up this zone. The Explode caps it, and that's the game there. And, you know, and that's the important thing, like you said, all you need there is the cap. You don't even need to go forward and defend the zone once again. It's overtime. All you need is that zone to flip.
Yeah, and like whatever you can do to get that zone to flip is what you're going to take. And of course, the advantage of having the lead and being able to build your specials is you have, I won't say all the time in the world, obviously there's a clock that's ticking down, but you have enough time that you don't have to pressure yourself into just hopping right into the zone. So yeah, Coastal Squid Surge, they were set up to win that one with just one take back, and that is exactly what they did, showing yeah, very different play style than what we saw in game 1. And now we will be moving on to game 3, Tower Control Museum. So of course here we haven't seen any Chargers, but this is, if you're a backline player, Chargers might be your choice, Tomo.
Oh yeah, Museum, you know, is the E-leader map, as people like to say. It has unparalleled reach. It can go all the way across these sight lines, and it's just a very strong weapon on a stage like this, Falco, especially, you know, on tower control. You have like you just know where they're gonna be. You can get easy picks off of there, and it's gonna be really nice. You know, I know at least Peachy on the side of Coastal Squid Surge, we haven't seen them. Oh, I was gonna say we haven't seen them on a Charger at all this CCA season, but it looks like another member of their team's got it covered. Kaiza gonna be on that E-leader, switching off of Squeezer, while Peachy's gonna be taking the blaster. Looks like the Tetras takes an early death there, falling off. The Tri-Slosher going down now too. Coastal Squid Surge creating a lot of pressure here, and right now you just see between the leader and this blaster, there's so much pressure on to this plat of Redbeak Splatoon. Coastal Squid Surge already just finding pick after pick after pick. My gosh, Falco, Peachy there putting in work on this blaster.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna say, I feel like they took the tower a little too late with the player advantage, but if you can cook how you're cooking now, that doesn't matter if you can just still get those picks. So like you said, Toma, they're already past that second checkpoint, not letting Redbeak Splatoon anywhere close, as now we finally see some contention on the tower, as it looks like that is Sopmon who is there, able to get a few picks, but they are going to go down. So with that, Coastal Squid Surge still keeping up the momentum and just applying the pressure as they have the player advantage.
Yeah, and Shy here too, you know, doing a great job, was able to protect their blaster Peachy there when they were being rushed down, but finally with 2 down, just that blaster in the leader on Coastal Squid Surge, you know what, Falco? They're going to be proving me wrong today. Coastal Squid Surge not ready to back up. They are like, yeah, we don't have our 2 shooters, no big deal, Peachy's got this. But, you know, finally it looks like they may be forced to at least let this tower start returning to a neutral position, but Coastal Squid Surge not going to give up the space, at least, with that tri-strike coming out onto the plat of Redbeak Splatoon. The members of Redbeak trying to find some space in mid, but being picked. You see Peachy just dominating on this range blaster before finally going down, and it just seems like Redbeak Splatoon really can't find their footing into mid right now.
Yeah, you know, and that is okay for now, because we still have over halfway of the match to go. But, you know, if you are Coastal Squid Surge, you want to kind of keep up this momentum for as long as you can, as long as you don't get the wipeout where you're going to have Redbeak Splatoon get set up pretty well and maybe get those 2 checkpoints that your team already got. So, but now this will be an opportunity for Redbeak Splatoon to still kind of push up a little bit. And you're right, Toma, they're doing such a good job controlling mid.
Absolutely. You saw there, Redbeak so close to being able to take that first checkpoint. Really great effort there, but being forced to back up a little bit this tri-slosher, maybe seeing if they can get a little bit of a sneaky shark play on to the leader, or the blaster finds the leader, tries to pick off the splash as well before going down. It doesn't quite find the pick. And now, on the tower, you've got this crab tank from Coastal Squid Surge, as they're going to be just going on to this corner. Again, those tri-strikes coming out. The members of their team not quite forward enough yet to be where they need to be to go up this ramp. Peachy here on that range blaster, though, gonna be protecting this ledge, stopping Redbeak Splatoon from kind of being able to push in. But with 2 down on the side of Redbeak Splatoon, this is kind of the opportunity with Coastal Squid Surge just looking for. One of their members, Chai, they're kind of forced to back off just a little bit because of that rain. You don't want to go down too early and, you know, accidentally kill your push. But Chai on this tower just kind of pushing this lead a little bit further, getting that crab tank out, but goes down to the tri-slosher. But, you know, Falco taking that push all the way to 18 now, you know, you can just kind of comfortably play defense for a while here. You don't need to be too stressed about continuing to extend that lead, especially on a map like this. It's kind of hard to get through this second checkpoint area without really utilizing a full wipe. So if you can play for your life, play for your specials here, Coastal Squid Surge has a pretty good time defending. 2 down now on the side of Redbeak Splatoon. They were set in a position to be able to take this checkpoint to the first tower, or to the first checkpoint again. And it seems like they want to try to be able to continue that. You saw those tri-strikes come out from their Neo Splash, and they're going to be continuing trying to pressure up, but they just don't quite have the range at this moment to be able to contest it. You saw just that C-Jet left alive. They chose not to engage with the leader. Probably a good decision. You know, C-Jet player myself sometimes, you know, it's not the best matchup against leader. So they're going to be playing for their life there, trying maybe to keep that rain to stop Coastal Squid Surge from coming in, but there's only 13 seconds left.
Yeah, and one of the things that Redbeak Splatoon has really been struggling with this entire match, but turned on the heat a little later on, was just the map control. It was so hard with how dominant of a lead that Coastal Squid Surge had pretty much the entire time. And I mean, you can take a look at mid right here, and this pretty much is how mid looked during the entire game, with the exception of maybe like 3.5 minutes in, where Redbeak Splatoon were finally able to get a footing and get a push of their own. But again, it's about setting the tone early in this game and just not letting the enemy back towards mid, and that's all you need to do. Like, you know, you can play a 5-minute game and I'll say pretty much just stall the whole time, but you know, that's just that's a way to win, but you know, it's not the quick knockout that you might want. And unfortunately, we don't have a replay for that set, but as you can see, Coastal Squid Surge just again really turned up the heat and seem to be playing better and better each game as we move on.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of like that lockout on mid, I just want to shout out Peachy there. Peachy, absolutely integral to that. I think that blasters on this map just can be unsung heroes of protecting your mid. They can create so much pressure on those ledges and kind of just stop your team from dropping back in. They had that there just because what are you going to do? You're not going to walk straight forward into the blaster, and the leader was able to pick off people that were even further back, and that was so integral to keeping their advantage state for most of their game. They really had a comp that worked on that lockout.
Yeah, and I loved the Charger pick with that game because that's not really something we had seen much so far in this set. And they did such a good job, and now we see Kaiser going back to that Charger as we are moving on to our next match, number 4, which is going to be Rainmaker Scorch Gorge.
Absolutely. I mean, the Coastal Squid Surge kind of finding a comp there, like, you know what, that worked, let's roll with it. But it is a different mode, of course. Rainmaker, a little bit of a faster paced mode. You need to be able to pop and move quickly with it. So having kind of a leader blaster combination may slow down Coastal Squid Surge a little bit, but if you can get the picks, it kind of hardly matters. Right now, 2 down on the side of Redbeak Splatoon, another one going down, a little bit of a stagger situation there. Peachy able to pick up this Rainmaker, and it looks like they're going to be trying to clear this space towards checkpoint 1. Finding an excellent pick there with the Rainmaker of that Tri-Slosher there on the Shark, waiting to take them out, but found just by the blast. And that's going to be the first checkpoint broken, Falco. And from here, these things can snowball really fast if you're not careful. You got Peachy there poking up into that corner. Kaiza trying to find some good sight lines. Not able to figure out exactly what they need, though, as they're going to kind of be backing off from here. The Tri-Slosh going to kind of come in, find a pick. Those Tri-Strikes going to clear the space for the Rainmaker reset. But if you're Redbeak Splatoon, you've still got members down, and you've got this leader watching your jumps. Doesn't quite find the first jump. You can't get the charge in time for the second, though. So your jumps are going to be safe this time. But, you know, when you've got a leader on the field, you got to be careful about those jumps.
You know, the way Coastal Squid Surge was just kind of lined up made I'll say this stall pretty well, and just being able to control mid. And unfortunately for Redbeak Splatoon, nobody tried to flank on their right side. I don't even know if they would have been able to with the Charger and just how well Kaiza has been playing. And with that, Coastal Squid Surge now going to be picking up the Rainmaker once again. They will be extending their lead as they're trying to take down the Heavy, who has the longest range on the side of Redbeak Splatoon, but they are going to go down. 57 remaining and 2 players down now. So, of course, Redbeak Splatoon hasn't really had an opportunity to push it themselves. Going to be opting to take it on this right side just to get a little bit more retail space, but it's going to be really hard to contest a blaster that can do a lot of chip damage, and they're going to opt to reset with 250 left.
Yeah, you know, and definitely a smart decision there, because the last thing you want to do is go down with the Rainmaker in your own base, have a man disadvantage, and then have the other enemy team just kind of rush in and pop it and get even more points. So at least now they're going to protect themselves. If they go down, Coastal Squid Surge has a lot more space that they have to go before they can start scoring. The Heavy trying to take an engagement there with those grades, but being picked off by the leader can be a little bit of a rough matchup, especially on a map like this with such open sight lines. But if you're going to do it on any map, I will say Heavy Spotlight, this is a great map for it. But right now, it's hard for the Heavy to find a place to set up between the range blaster and the E-leader. There's just a lot of pressure coming out from Coastal Squid Surge. And as you pick up, you see they're not even really rushing to make a push with this. They're playing really carefully. You can see that they still have members in mid trying to watch these flanks. They want to make sure that they're not going to just rush in hastily and be taken out from behind. But finally, Chai and Peachy are in this forward position. They're going to find the picks that they need, just the Tri-Slosher up. They know that now, hey, there's no one behind us. This is going to be a good opportunity to push. They're going to be able to take that to 46 now before going 2 down and going to be forced to back up from these Tri-Strikes.
You know, Coastal Squid Surge, we said this before, but they have been playing really well, just kind of stalling out the game. And like you said, Toma, they didn't need to make that push, but they thought, you know what, why not? We do have the player advantage. We are going to extend our lead to 46, which, of course, in Rainmaker, you know, on this stage, is that great? It's better than what you had before, but it's especially nice because your opponents still have to get through the checkpoint where they haven't even netted any points yet with only a minute remaining, and it looks like this will be an opportunity for Redbeak Splatoon to get on the board. They are they going to get to the checkpoint in time? They are. They amazingly get by between avoiding shots from 2 players. And they do have a, or no, they don't have a player advantage. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to extend this lead, but they just need to rely on one more coordinated special pickup to try and extend this lead. But with what Coastal Squid Surge has been doing, I think it's going to be very difficult.
Absolutely, you know, and like you said, so now that that checkpoint is fallen, it's a good old-fashioned Rainmaker game like Splatoon 2, and all it takes is, you know, one push, one utilization of a wipe, but you've got to find those picks onto Coastal Squid Surge, and Coastal Squid Surge isn't going to give that up for free. You can see that they're kind of just holding this Rainmaker back in a safe position. They've got the don't retreat, but with only 3 seconds left on the clock, it's not going to be a big deal. Peachy there securing the W for their team.
And with that, Coastal Squid Surge up 3-1, showing us how dominant that they are. And remember, this is a best of 9 rather than a best of 7 from what we have seen in the regular season. So not quite match point yet. Redbeak Splatoon still has a few games to try and contend and to get to show us what they've got. But that was a very, very good game by Coastal Squid Surge. Again, not letting Redbeak Splatoon push at all until just like late into the game when they broke their checkpoint. And of course, here at the very end, just, you know, being aware of where the specials are. Okay, we definitely have space to bring back the Rainmaker. And, you know, that's something I'm always a little iffy on, but I think on this stage, it is a little more forgiving and there's less things to kind of worry about when you do. So, very, very good decision-making by Coastal Squid Surge.
Yeah, not a map where you're going to be taken out by a surprise hammer now, is it, Falco?
Let's not talk about that. We don't need to talk about that Twitter clip.
Oh, goodness. But that is not, you know, this isn't Sturgeon Rain. This is going to be Ink Blot Clams. Falco, you know, what's the strategy on this map? What are they going to be thinking here? What does Redbeak Splatoon maybe need to change up here in order to be able to take back a game?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really hard because we have seen how coordinated Coastal Squid Surge has been pretty much this entire series. But Redbeak Splatoon, they did win Game 1, which happened to be Clam Blitz. Now, was it a pretty win? Not really, but it is the mode that they did win on. And of course, Inkblot, very different than a stage like Flounder Heights where they won their first game. So it is... You're really just going to have to pay attention to where the enemies are towards the basket too, because you can get some pretty gnarly flanks on Inkblot, and that can make it pretty difficult, Toma.
Oh yeah, it absolutely can, and you know, especially kind of these sneaky plays can happen. We saw that in that game they had the one power clam where they were able to extend their lead was kind of a surprise clam that was made directly underneath their basket. There was really no time to react to it. And if you can get something like that on a map like this, it can be really, really helpful if you're kind of just, hey, you've got a lot of pressure, say, like over on the right stack, and you're able to sneak somebody up that uninkable ramp on left and just make a power clam in the plat and immediately throw it. That can be a good thing. Or, you know, getting in a jump potentially on their bats. That's another great thing as well. That can kind of just create cool little surprise plays that's not going to give the enemy team a lot of time to respond to. But other than that, you know, one of the biggest things about succeeding here on Inkblot is holding mid, you know, and that's kind of goes for pretty much any sort of clam blitz game, because your clam economy is going to be determined by how much space you're holding. You can see the clams, you can go gather them easier, but especially on Inkblot where there's kind of pretty predictable path back into mid. You can either come in through, you know, through the plat or go down the drop in tree. people are going to be knowing where to look out for you. When you're on the lockout, it's going to be a hard situation for the enemy, so you have to really play it safe. You got to play for specials to be able to force people back out and really take control and hold control for the game.
And I think too, if you're Coastal Squid Surge, you don't really need to change your comp at all. It's working for you. You have a very good E-leader player who just seemed to get splat after splat. And again, no matter the mode, as long as you're just able to hold on to mid, you'll be fine. But Claim Blitz is one of those modes that can spiral out of control if you're not very careful. So we'll see what these teams are bringing to the table as we take a look at the comps. And yes, it looks like they're not going to be changing much on Coastal Squid Surge. They do have the Range Blaster. And yeah, we do see we are going to see our first Kraken of the day too.
Yeah, Coastal Squid Surge right now, thinking if it's not broke, don't fix it. Going to be keeping that same comp. Kraken coming out, it's going to be a little bit of an interesting thing. I haven't seen too much Kraken since the latest update. Got a little bit of a nerf in dropping its clams now when you activate it. So they're not going to be able to kind of use it to just cheese in a free clam, what they're holding. You have to make sure that, it's not your Kraken user holding the clam. It's got to be somebody who can jump into the Kraken. But right now, that 96 cal is down, so they're not going to have that Kraken online anyways, as the members of Coastal Squid Surge had a man advantage, but really didn't use it to push into mid quite yet. Taking a little bit of a slower approach to this right now, but we've seen Coastal Squid Surge play a slower paced game and create strong lockouts at the same time. Right now, Peachy gonna be on this blaster doing what they've done best time and time again, which is just create pressure into those plats, but they're gonna be forced to back up here. The Kraken did come out, I believe, got a pick there on the Coastal Squid Surge, and now it's looking like, Redbeak Splatoon may be posed to have a nice, I was gonna say have a nice hold of that little area, but a little bit of a commentator's curse there. But you can see that really just neither side has a super large clam economy at the moment. Coastal Squid Surge is going to be charging in here to the basket, but they've kind of just got that one clam, a few extra clams, but nothing to make really a huge sort of push. 68 right now. They'll see they can extend that to 65. It's not a bad push, but it's definitely not a safe one.
No, and what's really, I'll say, frustrating if you're Coastal Squid Surge for that situation, you got a lot of picks, but you just couldn't get any clams in. They were doing such a good job splatting Redbeak Splatoon players, but unfortunately, the clams, I just don't think they were in the right spot for them to pick up and score. So, like you said, Poma, I'll say only getting to 65, but based on the player advantages and the picks that they had while that basket was open, I think they could have gotten a little more. So Redbeak Splatoon now, really not much clam economy at all, and it looks like we might, well, I don't know if they're going to DC. No, they're moving again. They just wanted to win. I thought we were going to see some unfortunate Splatoon 3 action. But no, Coastal Squid Surge still doing such a good job, too, just getting pick after pick. Looks like the Range Blaster is going to be holding a power claim now. They're going to be starting to push up. They have the Wave Breaker going to be throwing it forward, getting a nice direct, but that's going to be trade on the Tri-Slosher. And now the rest of the members of Coastal Squid Surge are able to push up, but trying to find that right opportunity to score.
Yep, it looks like they're up. Oh my gosh, I believe that was a collateral there from the Charger. Gonna be the opportunity that they need, and there's the full wipe. They've got this power clam. They've got 7 clams online. This Falco, this is where you can see those devastating pushes come to life all the way down to 29. Now that is a huge lead now.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about when you get those wipes and you have those clams. It can be huge. And like you said earlier, this E-leader on the side of Coastal Squid Surge, Kaiza just putting in the work, that collateral that they got, they're absolutely vital to making that come together.
That may or may not show up on the instant replay at the end of this set with that push, because again, it happened at the perfect timing too. The rest of your members were there and able to score some clams, so a very good situation. And speaking of situation, Redbeak Splatoon in a little bit of a tricky situation with 3 power clams between 2 players. They're going to be having to forfeit one of them if they want to have enough players to try to push up, as it looks like Coastal Squid Surge still has some real estate and control of mid. So unfortunately for Redbeak Splatoon, it's not going to be an opportunity for them to use these power clams, as Coastal Squid Surge still doing such a good job holding on to mid. But now with 2 players down, Redbeak Splatoon needing to find a way to push in.
Yep, Coastal Squid Surge did a good job there too. You notice they kind of just got the picks and backed up. They didn't really need to play risky or, go in and just charge a blaze. But by getting those picks, they were able to kill all 3 of those power clams on the side of Redbeak Splatoon. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe they have their pity clam left
No,
either.
it's gone.
They'll have a pity clam now. But that could have been a bad situation if they get locked out without a pity. But Peachy here going to be the last member of Coastal Squid Surge alive. Redbeak Splatoon going to be getting that pity, going to be able to have this free space. But you got to remember, Coastal Squid Surge is respawning. You had one member of Redbeak try to just go in there alone, like, oh, we got the wipeout. But you got to remember, they're coming back in, and it just turned very fast into a 1v4 situation. And now you've got the stalemate in mid. Redbeak needs to find an answer, and fast. They need to get a lot of clams online. They've got the tri-strikes coming out, which is going to be great for their pressure. They got a pick, and they're going to be able to open this basket, be able to score, but they have to find a lot of clams, and fast. They need to keep this basket alive. The tri-slosher there going to get a great pick onto the leader, but finally the blaster there finding the picks, getting the full wipe, and that is going to be the game. That's going to take us to match point, Falco.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, at that point, it becomes a different game if you are Redbeak Splatoon, because you need to score, but then you need to score big. You can't just get that power clam in and, rely on the basket closing. Like, that is your last opportunity to score, and we did see some of their players try to push up towards the basket and get some clams in, and they were, able to get a few, but it's so difficult when you haven't really had control of the match at any point in the game and knowing that you need to get, 80 clams in to get the win. Now let's take a look at the replay, because this is where we're going to see the collateral by Kaiza right here, I believe, with this nice snipe. And this is actually what is going to set Coastal Squid Surge up for their victory, as they were able to really extend their lead at this point. I believe getting all the way down to 20, 25 in the wipeout. I think everything here went well for Coastal Squid Surge.
Absolutely. This is what you want to see on, Clam Blitz. Having a large clam economy and just waiting for the right time. And when you're holding mid, like Coastal Squid Surge had most of this game, you create that situation where you have a lot of clams, and then once you have a wipe, that's your key. That's how you see time and time again. We saw it in Ludi tonight. We've seen it in other CCA sets where teams have held mid, they get the wipe, and then all of a sudden they go in and they just have enough clams to 0 to 100 it. It's crazy, and it's wild, just the pressure that Coastal Squid Surge was able to keep and maintain throughout pretty much that entire game.
And now we will be moving on to match point with Coastal Squid Surge up 4-1. Redbeak Splatoon hoping to win the next 4 and make a miracle run. They were able to win their first game today, but haven't been able to get on the board since. So let's hop into our next mode, map and mode, Splat Zones, Brine Water Springs.
We're going to be seeing what they bring to the table here. We're going to see RPG switch over off of that blaster to the C-Jet here. I love that. I've been playing with C-Jet so much lately myself. And on the side of Redbeak Splatoon, a pretty much whole new comp there, bringing out the Explo, bringing out the mini Splatling, but already gonna go 3 down. I didn't see who got those picks there, but I'm gonna make a pretty educated guess that it might have been the leader that can reach all the way into their base. And Coastal Squid Surge now, you saw Chai just kind of going out, trying to create as much pressure and annoyance as they can. But already you see that they try to come back in, get picked off by the leader time and time again. This is already ticking down all the way to 60 at this point. And Coastal Squid Surge is just not wanting to give up that space. The Explo here going to be creating as much pressure onto the zone as it can, but it can't cap the zone alone. It's going to need its teammates. But Coastal Squid Surge is doing just such a good job removing everybody else from the action. They want to get the 0 to 100 here, Falco. They're like, let's take this game home early. But Redbeak Splatoon, with that rain, they got 2 down. They're not going to let that happen.
Yeah, for as well as Coastal Squid Surge has been playing, you're right, we haven't even seen any knockouts. But based on how well they have been playing in some of these games, you would assume that wasn't the case. But yeah, once again, Redbeak Splatoon getting an objective turnover at the perfect time to try and stay alive, and still doing a good job holding on to the zone for a little bit. Oh, and Kaiser with another very good splat here too. And of course, Redbeak Splatoon still holding on, but now they are finally going to lose the zone as members of Coastal Squid Surge able to push up. We see the rain coming out, we see a Fizzy being thrown over there. So once again, they're going to start phase 2 of this lockout as a Crab is going to be pushed up too.
Absolutely here. They're going to be getting this space that they need. You've got the mini Splatling on the side. They're seen by Chai. Chai's able to take the trade there. You know, not a bad situation to take a trade. You still maintain the man advantage for your team. Peachy here on the CJ, you know, just doing what CJs do best, but just putting out a lot of paint and constant pressure there onto the zone. But Redbeak Splatoon is able to find the cap once again, but it's quickly responded to. Coastal Squid Surge able to take it back really fast there. But, you know, they've got a lot of penalty here that they need to be able to work through, but they've got to find the cap once again. And if you kind of continue in this stalemate situation where you just keep kind of capping or off and off of each other, it's going to take a lot to get through these penalties and get to the point where you can potentially take the lead. But Coastal Squid Surge is going to be now working through that. And they're just set up in a great situation here, Falco. They've got this rain coming out. They've got a lot of pressure options from, you know, these fizzy bombs. That leader who can look into the enemy's plat. I believe you may have seen a snipe coming out there. And right now, it looks like Redbeak Splatoon is just kind of unable to move the key members of Coastal Squid Surge that they need to be able to really get up into that ramp and just create the perfect lockout situation.
Right, and even if this were a stalemate situation, that's just going to benefit the team who has the lead as the clock ticks down, especially with how much of a lead that Coastal Squid Surge has at this time. Again, any trade that happens when you have the lead, when you have the control of the objective, is going to by far benefit you, especially in splat zones, because you don't even need a player on the objective, unlike any other mode. And with that, oh, I thought we were going to see another wipeout, but no, the Crab was popped just in time to avoid it. I'll say a soft wipe here, as Coastal Squid Surge able to take complete control of the zone. Chai going to be able to try and push up a little bit, applying some burst bombs to throw forward, but going to be backing up, and once again, Coastal Squid Surge playing the very conservative game.
Yeah, you know, and it's been working out for them. They know that, hey, we're in the lead. There's only a minute left in this game. We're consistently getting our picks. There's no need to risk everything and, you know, rush forward and potentially get wiped out ourselves. They've been doing this time and time again. You know, situations where I would expect teams to just kind of charge forward into the enemy's base, and they don't, but they make it work for them. And that's kind of just the important part. You know, there's nothing to criticize if it's getting the job done. That certainly is here as they're able to work through their penalty. They're able to find another pick on the backside with that Booyah Bomb. And now all the pressure on Redbeak Splatoon as this is counting down. And that there, Falco, is going to be the set to Coastal Squid Surge. 5-1 going to be advancing on in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I believe they are the first team to punch their ticket to their division finals. Typically, these games take place on the weekends and not Thursday at 7 a.m. Eastern time. So, a very, very impressive win there for Coastal Squid Surge as they're able to hold on and not let Redbeak Splatoon push forward. Redbeak Splatoon, a fantastic effort though. Such a fun and incredible set to watch. Let's take a look at the final moments of this game. And again, it's just the paint control, just the positioning of the Coastal Squid Surge players, and just being able to identify where Redbeak Splatoon players are and able to use their specials and get some of those picks really paid off.
But yeah, it absolutely did. And you can see here that when that timer is just so close, all you can do is just, you've got to rush forward. You've got to try to get the zone. And that's what the junior player tried to do there. But just by themselves, they're not going to be able to do that solo. And wow, just an excellently played set, Falco. You know, going from game one where we saw that super stalemate match and where Coastal Squid Surge was just completely unable to get in a push. If you had told me that the set was going to end like this, I'm not sure I would have trusted you at this time. But from game two onwards, just a completely different team I saw coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it's amazing to see the progression from, I'll say, the first game to the last game, and just kind of the adaptation that some of these players have. And we saw Costa Squid Surge. They found a comp that worked with them, and they barely ever strayed away from it. So they definitely did such a good job. But that is going to be it for our set this morning. I'm not used to saying that, but thank you all so much for tuning in to our CCA broadcast. I'm going to give a quick shout out to the CCA. I'm going to type their Twitch channel here in chat so you guys can make sure to follow them too, because they're going to be streaming a lot of competitive collegiate Splatoon action later this weekend, and we will probably do some on Saturday and Sunday evening as well, so be sure to follow us and follow the CCA Splatoon. But yes, with that is going to be it. Toma, where can we find you?
You can find me at Crest of Gautier, or you can hear on twitch.tv /ttoma_, you know, maybe streaming later today. Falco, where can the good people find you?
You can find me, FalcoFlyer11, on Twitter, FalcoFlyer on Twitch, and I will also be casting the Ink TV Resurgence League tonight. I will be on the mic with Kbot for a wonderful, wonderful matchup between Starburst and Graveyard Shift. That is going to be a banger matchup to kick off. That's going to be, again, later tonight on Ink TV Splat, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. But that is going to be it for us tonight, so today, wow, this morning, okay. Thank you all so much once again. We appreciate it. Be sure to follow Splatoon Tourney on Twitch, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter, all Splatoon Tourney. If you would like, you can join the Splatoon Tourney Discord and get notified whenever we go live. So thank you all so much. We're going to send you off on a raid. I believe there's like one person streaming Splatoon that I am following right now, so we're going to go raid them, wish them the best of luck in their games, and we hope you all have a fantastic, fantastic day. Take care.